Don't get sick around the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So by now you understand that when you were in that relationship, your health was taking a hit. It was taking a beating. You weren't sleeping like you used to. You weren't being able to be yourself. You were being repressed, if you will. You weren't being respected. You weren't being listened to. You were being gaslit. You were being stonewalled, at times given the silent treatment, triangulated, verbally abused, emotionally abused, spiritually abused, and maybe even physically abused, definitely financially abused. And this all equaled a few things. You probably got sick. Maybe you even had a health challenge. And this is something that you did not have before you met the narcissist. You see, when you're with these people, what they want to do, and I've shared it for so many years, they want to steal your energy. They want to steal your health, and they want to use it for themselves. And you may say, well, how can someone take their health and use it for themselves? Well, energy is what I've been talking about for quite a long time. Picture a person who is stealing your energy. Well, then your energy goes out the window. It fuels them. Then they have to recycle another fuel source and top themselves up, but you're depleted as you're recharging. Then they look to tap into somebody else. This is energetic. It's energetic connection, and health is a big part of it. I myself had a detached retina, multiple knee surgeries, and some other things that I won't get into. These aren't coincidences. These are direct results of the toxicity of the relationship that I was a part of. You perhaps experienced something similar, maybe worse, maybe not as bad, but I can assure you one way or the other, you probably had some health concerns that you didn't, that were foreign to you, that you couldn't figure out why you got them or how you got them. Some very simple, and I'm not saying these are easy to go through experiences, because currently I still have poison ivy. And no, I haven't dealt with a narcissist or any narcissist in years, and I won't. But having said that, maybe you had some rashes on your body, or maybe you were losing your hair, or maybe your hair was turning gray quicker than you thought, or maybe you were catching colds or the flu more often than usual, or maybe your sleep patterns were disrupted. The last part, I can assure you that took place. Your sleep patterns were blown up. They were completely disrupted. And all these things encompass one thing, you being in a toxic relationship. You were not taught this in school, which means the formal education or whatever educational level that the school system did not provide. And my hope is they will in the future, although probably they won't, which is why I create videos each and every day to pay it forward. But you were understanding that, yeah, toxicity is everywhere. And yes, it does have two legs, and it walks around the way you walk, and it uses the same words or language that you use, and it tries to infiltrate your life and steal your energy, which is a direct result to why your health took a hit. Let's go back in time when you got ill. Let's say that something really happened. Say you had some dentistry that you had to get through, or maybe you had a more serious concern. Not that dentistry isn't serious, but maybe it's something else. Whatever it was, think about, was that person there for you? Were they there with you? No, they weren't. Maybe they didn't even give you a ride. Maybe they gave you a ride to the doctor, and they waited in the car because they claimed that they were so busy that they had to be on one of their 3 smartphones while you went in, dealt with the doctor, even though you didn't know where you were going and you needed support and you couldn't walk properly, and it was a new part of town or city that you were in, but they didn't care. You see, they were checking the box. They gave you a ride, and they thought that that was good enough. Truth be told, they didn't want you to get better. They didn't want you to have the surgeries or the procedures. They didn't want your hair growing back out. They didn't want you gaining the weight or losing the weight. They didn't want your sleep patterns to fall back into place. The narcissist is a parasite, and it's a parasite that is always, and I mean always, looking for a host. And once they get as close as they possibly can to that host, they extract, and health is one of the things they take away. So another example, when you were sick, think about it. Was this person there for you morning, noon, and night? No, they weren't. Were they at the bedside with you? No, they weren't. Did they check in on you? I doubt that. Were they around when you needed them to pick up meds or to bring you chicken soup or things like that? Possibly, but I doubt it. Let's talk about the meds for a minute. Let's say that you were bedridden or house-ridden, and you couldn't drive for some reason or some purpose, or you didn't have access to getting the meds dropped off to your house. Well, the narcissist, you would ask them, hey, can you pick up meds A, B, and C? And I need them today by 7 o'clock or whatever, I'm running low, whatever it is. And then what would happen? Well, maybe they would get home at 9:30 at night, and you'd be saying, oh, well, you're here. I've been trying to call you or text you, but you didn't answer, so you must have been busy. Hey, do you have the meds? And they'd be like, oh, forgot about that. Or they would say, oh, I drove by the pharmacy, but it was closed. It was too late, or there's too much traffic. Or I was stuck at a business meeting. I totally forgot about it. I'll pick them up tomorrow. You see, they're intentionally neglecting your needs. In this case, it's medication. That's just one micro example of hundreds of millions I could give you. But counting on these parasites to help you out, specifically when you're sick, don't ever do it. I made the mistake of doing it, but it's not a good thing to be relying on your abuser to help you out when you're sick, perhaps even bedridden or have a medical concern or multiple medical concerns when you have to lean on someone to be there for you. The narcissist doesn't want you improving your health. They don't want you getting better. And when you are sick or were sick, they look at you in disgust and they smirk and they laugh and they grin and they say, wow, I can't believe it. You are sick? That's pathetic. Nobody gets sick. I never get sick. How come you're sick? I can't believe this. I'm not going to help you. This is what they're telling themselves in their tiny little brain. They don't want people improving, and health is a big one. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. In the old days or years ago, we used to think money was everything. Personally, I never have. I know we need money to pay rent, to get internet, and to get food and shelter and water and etc. But I'm not a big money guy. I don't need $10 billion in my bank account. Would it be nice? Yeah, but do I look for it? No, absolutely not. The narcissist loves money. And what do they love more than money? They love your money. But if you don't have, back in the old days, thinking that money was the most important thing, it's not. It's your health. It's your peace of mind. It's your clarity. It's your focus. It's the trajectory of your life. And the narcissist took all of that and more. You must know the damage was done when you were in that relationship. Everything was done to you under the sun: financial abuse, emotional, physical, spiritual, every way possible. Your relationships were being blown up left, right, and center. The smear campaign was well underway, and your health was taking a hit. Imagine, if you will, being in a trapped mindset, maybe even a physical trapped house, because you probably were, even though you didn't know it, or maybe you did know it, and your health is deteriorating over and over. Meaning, let's say now you're losing your appetite. You don't want to get out of bed and you can't eat, and you're not going to work as often as you used to, and your mind is all fuzzy because you're not feeling well, but you don't know what's going on. However, you're living with the narcissist, but you didn't realize what narcissism was because you weren't taught this in school. So you're thinking it's just you and that something's really wrong with you. Well, it's not just you, but something is wrong with you, because every minute you were living in the house with that parasite, they were stealing your energy and your health and your time from you. Think of what sleep deprivation is. It's when somebody intentionally is not allowing you to sleep. In the old military days, that's what they would do to prisoners, sleep deprive them. And I'm sure it happens in other hostages and things like that. Well, essentially, when you're with the narcissist, you are a hostage and you are a prisoner. And that's another great example I just came up with in real time. Remember, I create these videos free flowing. The energy above flows through me and through you. Having said those things, when you're being sleep deprived, your mind is fuzzy, your mind is groggy, you're a little sluggish, you're slow, you're not moving as quickly as you used to mentally and physically, and you're trying to catch up. That's not a good space. That is akin, although it's not the same as being in the narcissistic fog. The narcissistic fog is something you can't touch. You can feel it, you can sense it, it does exist, and that is the mindset where you don't want to be. This is when you're trapped, and this is when your health is taking a hit, but you can't put your finger on it. You don't know what's going on. Now that you know, or now you're understanding what has happened, you realize that the narcissist is like a thief in the middle of the night. They infiltrated your life. They insidiously crept in it. They got access to your time, your money, your energy, your health, your relationships, your purpose, your future, your hobbies, and anything else that made you you. And they slowly, insidiously took everything away from you. Your health was one of them. And this is why the video is called Don't Get Sick Around the Narcissist, because when you get sick, they are going to literally, figuratively, every way possible say, okay, I did it again. This person's, their fuel tank is gone, or it's super low. I don't want to be around them because it reminds me of how weak and pathetic they are, and they're a human being, and I want nothing to do with improving their life. Actually, I want to continue to step on their neck and crush their existence. But by me not being around them and not supporting them, that will happen on its own. So I'll go groom a new source of supply, or I will look in my smartphone on my dating apps or my social media platforms and see who has been texting me 2, 3, 5 times in the last couple hours. Oh, there's a new one from a different country too, and they look kind of cute. Maybe I'll start talking to that person. This is while they're sitting in a different room of the house, because by now you went from romance to roommates. You're sitting in a different part of the house, and your spouse, who is the non-narcissist, has very serious medical concerns, and I'm acting like the narcissist, but I'm not. And the narcissist says, yep, well, if I bide my time properly, I don't keep buying the meds, I don't support them, I don't bring them the chicken soup, and I don't take them to the doctors, they're going to wither away, and no one's going to be there for them, and they're going to think I did everything I could, even though I didn't lift a finger to help them out. And now I've got this new person, a younger person, maybe 10, 20 years younger than my current spouse. Again, I'm acting like the narcissist, but I'm not. I'll get them on the hook. And let's say that my spouse dies, and I hope to God, I, Andrew, hope that nobody dies, but we're all going to. Again, I'm acting like the narcissist. If they do, well, then there I go. I get the inheritance, I get the house, I get the 401k, I get everything in the will and more. So all I have to do now is stay in the house, continue to zap their energy, and continue to not pick up their meds, and continue to watch them flail and not eat and sleep deprive them. And behind closed doors, nobody will know anything else other than thinking that I'm doing the best I can to help my spouse out. But once that time comes, and let's say, heaven forbid, that the narcissist spouse passes, well, now they can play the victim card and take off with all the money and the assets and everything, financial resources, to the new supply if they wanted to, or they could claim that they weren't left anything and try to take from the new supply. See, this is how the cycle goes, around and around and around, and it never stops until the narcissist leaves the planet. The narcissist knows what they're doing. They've done it before. They did it before they met you. They did it with you, and they're doing it right now. This is why these people never improve. This is why they can't introspect. This is why they can't be accountable. And this is why they continue to do the same things over and over and over again. So why not to get sick around the narcissist? It's because they look at you and say, this is what they think in their tiny brain. I just burnt this one out. Wow, it happened a little bit longer. It took a little bit longer than the last person, or maybe it took a little bit shorter time. But I did what I needed to do, and now this person, they have real concerns. I'm not going to be around there for that, because I've got bigger things to be doing, more people to abuse and to trick and trap and manipulate, and I'll let this person fend for themselves with the doctors and the medical bills and the hospital stays and the surgeries and all that. I won't be anywhere around there. This is what the narcissist does. And if you think for a minute that they don't do that, you haven't been in a toxic relationship. Let's flip it for a quick moment. Think about who the narcissist cares about. It is not you. It has never been you. It never will be you. It's themselves. This is why when you were in that relationship, most likely you were not taking care of your health the way you should have. Perhaps you weren't getting the medical checkups. Maybe you weren't going to the dentist. Maybe you weren't exercising. Maybe you weren't eating properly. You definitely were being sleep deprived. And your motor was being burned out. Your energy was being stolen and zapped from you. The whole time that was happening, the narcissists themselves, possibly, although maybe not, was going to the doctor. They definitely were using your money, stealing your time, sleep depriving you, and they were watching you fall apart at the seams. This is why when you're in these relationships, it's a zero-sum relationship. The narcissist wants to take everything and more, and they leave you with nothing, but you didn't know that because you thought you were in a loving, stable, healthy, two-way committed relationship. You weren't. You were in a toxic, draining, life-threatening, debilitating, challenging, narcissistic relationship from hell, and they knew what they were doing. This is why you don't want to get sick. Of course, no one wants to get sick, but when you're sick and you're around a person who is not trying to improve your health, and they know it, and they're doing it deliberately, that is not a good spot to be in. It's not a good space to be in. Because think about it, when you're sick, what do you need? You need TLC. You need someone to be there for you. You need someone to bring you that chicken soup and take you to the doctor and tell you it's going to be okay. Well, when that goes away, and it goes away pretty quickly, then you think to yourself, how did I get here? How am I by myself? How come no one's around here to help me out? And what happened? Where along the way did this go sideways? Well, it went sideways the minute you met them, and it continued to go sideways up into and including the time when you became ill. See, everything, and I mean everything, reveals itself in time, and people are no different. You didn't realize this because, again, how could you know that? You were seeing the cracks in the armor, you were seeing the chips in the armor, and you were seeing that person show you who they were more and more and more. The more they showed you, the more you made excuses. The more you made excuses, the more you tolerated. The more you tolerated, the less you paid attention to red flags, and you never paid attention to red flags. The less you paid attention to red flags, the less you trust your instincts and intuition. The less you did that, the more your health began to deteriorate. It is not a coincidence or an accident that your health improves post-relationship. The further you get away from these people, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the more your health returns. The more your health returns, the less you have to deal with these toxic people. And they know this. I've said this for so many years on videos. It's an energetic exchange. It's an exchange from two people. You were the battery being zapped and being taken advantage of. They were the person who was using the battery. Once that battery is used up or it gets super low, maybe to 1%, well, then they throw it in the bin and then they look for a new battery. You are not what I call battery. You're what I call beautiful, bright, shining light. You shine higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars, and everything in between. And my hope is your health has returned, or my hope is you never had a health challenge, but I'm sure you did. And my hope is that you are staying away from these people and you've gone no contact, blocked them, deleted them, removed them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? You must realize something. If there are any people in your life that have access to you directly or indirectly, and they are toxic, maybe even a narcissist, they will continue to try to steal your energy. They will pop up when you least expect it. They will send you a phantom email telling you that they left their old smelly shoe from 30 years ago in your basement. They will pop up and tell you that they have the $20 that you loaned them 16 years ago. They will pop up and ask you for you to give them $5,000, even though you gave them $50,000 over the last 5 years. They will pop up and claim that someone that they know, or that they know that you know, just passed away, and they will use that as leverage. Hey, so-and-so just passed away. Just thought I'd want you to know that. And why do you think they do all these things? It's to live in your mind rent-free, to keep you stuck, to have you thinking about them, to have you wobble and maybe open the door just a crack so they could kick it wide open at a later date and go back for another round of abuse. That's why these are cycles. They go around and around and around, and you need to get out of the cycle, because that cycle will continue to go around, because that's what the narcissist does. They are the one common denominator in the narcissistic abusive cycle. It is not you, and it was never you. You were a cog in the wheel of abuse, and you didn't know you were being abused, but now you do. Now you realize your health has returned, or is returning, and maybe perhaps the meds that you're on, you're weaning yourself off them, or maybe you don't even need them anymore. I can tell you one thing, you're not being sleep deprived anymore if you've healed, or if you're really healing. I can tell you that the toxic dreams that you were having about the narcissist, they've all faded away. Most of them have. I can tell you now, this is when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can sleep until noon, or you can stay up to 2 a.m. You can do whatever you want to do when you've healed. As you're healing, you will realize that all the things that were taken from you, they slowly return. The key word there is slowly. Nothing happens quickly, nothing happens overnight, and nothing happens as fast as we want it to happen, which is why the healing path is not linear. It will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time, you will heal if you utilize the tools that I provide for you with each and every video. From all the fantastic and amazing and insightful comments from all over the world. You see, at one point, we all were what is known as the new supply. We were the new appliance, or we were that fully charged battery that the narcissist would eventually take advantage of, take whatever they could, and then throw us away in the bin. Well, remember, that's how the narcissist saw us. What we are and always have been are beautiful, bright, shining lights, but we didn't have this education. We didn't have this newfound wisdom, which is a superpower, and it's a superpower on steroids once you wrap your head around that you have one of life's keys in your hand. You have some wisdom in your mind that very few people will ever A, understand, B, recognize, or C, appreciate, and D, ever acquire. That's what you're doing, though. That's what I've done. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see it and you've healed, you want nothing to do with it, which is why we have small footprints. We stay off the radar of these toxic parasites. We focus on ourselves and improving our circumstances and those loved and trusted ones around us. And we realize that when we were in the relationship with these parasites, when we got sick, that was one of the cues for them to begin the discard, or begin to punish us more and more, or give them more time to cheat on us, or give them more time to file the taxes incorrectly, or give them more time to blow up anything, use the smear campaign and blow up any more relationships that we had. This is why you need to get away from these people as far and as fast as you possibly can, because they don't improve. They only disintegrate, they only deteriorate, they only erode, and they will take anybody, and I mean anybody, down with them who gets too close to them in that low vibrational state, the narcissistic quagmire, if you will. That's where the narcissist exists. That's their natural vibrational state. It is lower than a piece of dirt below your shoe. No disrespect to dirt. I'm standing on it right now, and dirt is amazing. Without dirt, we don't have life. But remember, the narcissist doesn't want to grow. They want to take. They don't want to build. They want to destroy. And they don't want to be accountable. They want to lurk and hide in the shadows so they can rear their ugly head and pop up and try to disrupt someone else's energy. That's why for this video, don't get sick around the narcissist, because you didn't know what you know now. Now you do know. And that now you understand that these people wanted you sick. And truth be told, they probably helped you get sick. I'm sorry to say that, but I went through it myself with multiple surgeries, including detached retina surgery and other surgeries. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Remember a few things. When you get sick, you can't help it. Number 2, when you get sick, the goal is to improve and get healthy. Number 3, without health, you have nothing. Number 4, when you are out of the relationship and you're healing or you've healed, you will realize, if you haven't already, that you have a lot of time. And a lot of that time that was spent on doing things for the toxic person now is spent on doing things for yourself. Example, buying the kind of coffee you want, going to the gym or exercising, reading, journaling, meditating, focusing on yourself, improving your circumstances, improving your environment. Maybe you're planning vacation for the first time. Maybe you're going out out of the house for the first time and you're going to move your body. Who knows what you're doing? But when the narcissist is gone, no matter how they're out of your life, you need to focus on yourself, because you made it out. You're a rare person. You're a special person. You are stronger than you know. And you need to understand that was a life-threatening, debilitating, challenging, taxing, close call of a relationship from hell, but you're out. When you're out, you need to stay out, which is why you need to maintain your boundaries and maintain no contact. And try your best to stay healthy, and try your best to do whatever you can do to improve your health and what you're consuming mentally and physically, meaning your foods and whatever content you're consuming, meaning watching or reading, whatever you're doing, or taking a part of a class. If nothing adds value to your life, I strongly suggest you take a look at it. And if it doesn't add value, and I can give you hundreds of examples right now, but I won't, then you shouldn't be doing it. But remember, you're changing, you're evolving, you're growing, you're ascending. You are entering the 3rd version of yourself, which is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. And very few people, and I mean very few people ever will get there. You are getting there because you made it this far in the video. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. And yes, the haircut's still new, and I think it looks pretty good. I hope you guys like it. Bye.